Hey guys, been quite a while since I made a Hollow Knight video, but you guys seem to like the community ranking of the bosses, so I figured I would do the same for the areas. So once again, no one can get mad at me for this ranking. That just makes me feel safe. I like it. Anyway, let's start with the 20th area, aka the worst area, which is Royal Waterways, surprising to absolutely no one. I'll be honest, I don't really hate this area as much as others do. It's kinda whatever. Looks wise it's okay, music isn't really there, there's one good boss, one shit boss, and some annoying ass enemies. The Royal Waterways are meant to look and feel disgusting and nasty, and they do a great job at portraying that. Yes, the enemies are pretty annoying, featuring some of the very worst, and a horrible boss, but there's also nice things to say about the area. Isthmus Grove and the Dung Defender's home are sweet and beautiful, and evoke a sense of wonder for me. Same for the broken elevator shaft. I can't say I got the sense of wonder and beauty of this place, but fair enough, to each their own. The second worst area is Fog Canyon, and I can agree with its placement at the bottom. It's one of the many nothing areas in the game, and it's easily the most tedious of them. This place mostly just acts as a transition between Greenpath and Fungal Wastes, and while visually it does its job perfectly, it's a bit annoying to do repeatedly because of the enemies. The jellyfishes aren't hard to deal with really, but you have to be careful around them. They stop you from carelessly running across, which is why I hate them. Fog Canyon is easily the worst area in the game, with it being such a nothing boring area. I guess the atmosphere is quite peaceful with the underwater thing, that's quite cool, but apart from that, gameplay wise it's a nothing area, and the map design is also nothing. At number 18 we have Howling Gliffs. Finding this place was cool at first, and it has Gorb, as well as one of the Nail Masters, and this little hole with butterflies looks really pretty. But aside from that, it's pretty empty and devoid of all atmosphere and music. Howling Gliffs, I mean it's nice to find it and explore it, even if it doesn't really have much in it. It is atmospheric, but it lacks unique enemies, it doesn't have a real boss, it uses the same assets as Forgotten Crossroads. It's not garbage, but pretty meh. Next we have the infected Crossroads. I felt like separating this from the normal Crossroads because people view this place very differently after the late game change. By that I mean they really hate it. Like, I love the Crossroads as a tutorial area, but I can hardly bear the infected Crossroads. It's just the same but annoying. Infected Crossroads sucks. It's so annoying because everything chases you and explodes. My least favorite aspect of this version of Crossroads is how some of the old paths are now blocked. It's just pointless and annoying. The only thing I like about this is that it shows your progress in the game in a very apparent way. At number 16 we have the Resting Grounds. Another nothing area, but at least it has some neat atmosphere to it. I don't think anyone hates it. There's nothing to hate about it because there's nothing in the area. Resting Grounds has cool atmosphere, that's about it. I wonder if anyone enjoys its side mission. No. Number 15 is the Colosseum of Fools. Despite being a tiny area, there's loads of content in here. Question is it fun content? Well, kind of. I like the first two trials you can do here, but the third one is just too much for me personally. I don't really like it. And it doesn't seem like that many do, considering its relatively low ranking. And I wish getting a pale ore wasn't tied to this place. I wish the Colosseum was more optional than it is. Next at number 14 is Ancient Basin. I think we're getting to the pretty good areas in the game. I have no complaints about this place. Though it is pretty short, I like what is in it. The path to Broken Vessel was atmospheric and had these pretty fun turret sections. I also like the wind effect here. Ancient Basin, while not exactly all that interesting in terms of level design, has a pretty cool look. The use of shades and greys makes it stand out pretty well, creating this mysterious yet sort of nostalgic atmosphere. It also has some cool bosses. Next is the Hive. This place used to be kinda lame, but after the Lifeblood update, they changed a few things. It looks more detailed now and ends with a fun boss. And it's a big departure from the rest of the game's aesthetics. So now I would say I like it. I like the Hive because of the lore. Yeah, I have no clue about the lore myself. Hive is the best area with the best art. Hive's enemies were cool. I guess they were pretty unique. I'll give them that. Number 12 is the Forgotten Crossroads. For once I have to say I'm shocked with this placement. I think this is a great first area in the game. It's gloomy, atmospheric, pretty fun to explore and connects to so many different areas. But some seem to find it more dull than anything else. Forgotten Crossroads. I didn't like it because it was bland. The first area of the game that handles its purpose very well. Not much to say, it's your standard Hollow Knight area and it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. I disagree, but okay. The Abyss is next. This place is just spooky. Once again, it has a neat atmosphere. The game in general has. But it's pretty short and mostly just a one-time visit. You come here for the Shadow Dash and Abyssal Shriek, and then won't see it again until you come back to witness a flashback. Which is a cool event, I must say, even as someone who has no clue about the lore. But I hate the platforming here, I just can't tell where I'm landing. Abyss has lore, and feeling, and emotion, and OMG, so much sadness. Abyss is a nice area, but eh. Yeah, I agree, it's pretty eh. Right at the middle of the ranking we have Godhome. Like Coliseum of Fools, this place is really small, but it has loads of content in it. Seems like people like the content here better though, as do I. I'm personally not that interested in the Pantheons, but I do love the inclusion of the Hall of Gods. Having the opportunity to replay bosses is a feature every game with boss fights should have. FromSoft, please. Godhome isn't really an area. Shut up, it counts for this list. At number 9 we have Grystal Peak. This place I actually kind of hated on my first playthrough. Part of that was because my PC just couldn't handle this place for whatever reason. But after replaying this level twice after, it's been fine. Kind of fun even. I like the music in it, the platforming is pretty fun, but I don't like how Crystal Guardian is the guardian of one of the only benches in this area. The previous one before it is so damn far away. Seeing the bench but having a boss in it was like, oh my god, it's so close, but also so far. Grystal Peak is fun in my opinion, the colors are nice and bright and the music is great. The enemies are pretty annoying though. Grystal Peak would be one of my favorites if it wasn't for the flying crystal beetles. Yeah, I don't really like those either. Still, it's a solid level I think. Number 8 is Dirtmouth, or Dirtmouth. I've heard people say both and I'm not sure which one it is. This is the last nothing area and I can see why it's ranked as the best. It's a pretty cozy main hub in the game, at least until Zote gets in there to ruin everything as always. The music there is good, and it has Grim, which probably boosted it up even higher in the eyes of the community. Kingdom's Edge is at number 7. This could probably be my favorite level if it didn't have primal aspids and giant hoppers as its primary enemies. But it looks so good, and it has nice music, neat atmosphere and a great boss. I kinda like the Kingdom's Edge. I saw the primal aspids so many times I became a professional on killing them. And the Colosseum makes the entire area great, Bardoon too. We are not counting the Colosseum as part of it, but Bardoon's ass is definitely great. Kingdom's Edge is a strange one. If you start from the tram side, it has some neat platforming parts, until you reach the big cliff area. Then it becomes much less about level navigation and more about just jumping from one platform to the next to climb up, while being shot by primal aspects. Having so many floating platforms everywhere like this is rather dull. White Palace luckily makes up for this, but still, the main cliff part drags on for too long. Though the other parts of the level are pretty neat, especially those bouncing tick enemies. They can pressure the player's environmental awareness in a pretty engaging way. Also, the area's boss is awesome. Oh yeah, the Colosseum is in this area. Moving on. No, it's not. But yes, let's move on. Deeprest is next, and I feel like half the people hate it and half the people love it. Which is why I'm surprised it didn't get placed closer to the middle of the ranking. I guess more people like it than hate it. Personally, I like it, especially when you go through it the first time. It's the creepiest area in the game too, it's easy to get lost in it. It just has a really dense atmosphere. I especially like how you can see spiders and shit crawling around on your screen. Really adds a lot to it. But what the place lacks is a boss. Sure, it has Nosk, but Nosk sucks. I was hoping there would be an epic fight against a giant spider monster, but nope, there isn't one. Instead of climaxing, the area kinda just runs out of steam at the end. As cool as the Beast's Den looks. Deeprest is my favorite area. I love the style, it's so metal. Deeprest is for sure one of the best designed areas, if not a little too big, but its super oppressive, intimidating atmosphere makes for an unsettling experience which puts you on edge whenever exploring Deeprest. The enemies are horrifying and so is the boss too. It is one of the most interesting areas and despite not really fun, it is definitely an awesome area. At number 5 is Queen's Gardens. I love and hate this area at the same time. I love the look and the music of it, but I think the place is just too full of spikes. They just get annoying by the end. And the path to Traitor Lord is a long and arduous journey that I don't want to make more than once. But I died to the boss, so I ended up having to do just that. Fuck my life. I liked Queen's Gardens' atmosphere and platforming. The enemies on the other hand. My input is Queen's Garden sucks and it doesn't get enough shit. While this area is similar to Greenpath visually, it has a different theme. Also there's some neat platforming here and there, bunch of unique enemies, the music is great. Even the boss isn't meh anymore thanks to the Lifeblood patch. I do agree that they improved the Traitor Lord fight quite a lot. Number 4 is my personal favorite area, Fungal Wastes. It was just a really fun area to explore. It has mantis lords, fun mushroom enemies, bouncy mushrooms, a talking mushroom, just lots of mushrooms, and I like it. And most seem to like it too. Fungal Wastes is good. Big true. Fungal Wastes more like fungal wastes. Fungal Waste is good, but I think I like Queen's Garden more. You monster. According to you guys, the third best area in Hollow Knight is White Palace. I'll be honest, I don't really like it much. By the way, what kind of masochist bastards are all of you to put White Palace in S? Yeah, exactly. I'm honestly not so keen on platforming in this game, or in general in any game I guess. Just not my thing. And this whole area is about platforming challenges. So, So to offer a different perspective, here's what Voltage had to say about White Palace. The whole game feels like its platforming challenges were building up towards the White Palace. Hollow Knight's platforming in general started off as a mere method for getting around areas, with only a small amount of rooms where you actually need to focus on it, and even those were just side areas at best. Queen's Gardens is the first time the platforming becomes more focused and a core aspect of the level design, and in White Palace the platforming mechanics get pushed to their very limits. Hollow Knight's platforming is overall rather limited, so seeing Super Meat Boy inspired level design is quite surprising, but at the same time very much welcome. It's what I had been hoping for throughout the entire game, and then it finally happened. At number 2 we have the lovely, lively Greenpath. I can agree with this being a top tier area. It's such a nice contrast to the grey and blue Crossroads. It has good music and ends on a good boss. Greenpath is another one of my favorite areas with its peaceful atmosphere, awesome design and a good challenge for early game. The sense of exploration you feel when exploring Greenpath is awesome, and it's a great area for showing players what to expect when playing the game. But number 1 is, as I expected, Gity of Tears. It's like the Anor Londo of Hollow Knight. This is like what the first half of the game was building up to. It didn't disappoint, and going outside for the first time into the rain and hearing the beautiful music was a wonderful moment for me and for many others. Like the Gity of Tears is one of my favorite areas in any game due to its incredible atmosphere alone. Art plus music, so it's also masterfully designed as the epicenter of all of Hallownest. Gity of Tears when I reached the memorial just sold it to me. And that's it for this ranking. I hope you enjoyed and didn't get triggered by the order of the areas. Can't wait to see what Silksong has in store for us. Thanks for watching guys. See ya.